What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're going to be going ahead and doing a video dedicated to the Striker class in One Piece Treasure Cruise. Of course, late last year we had characters come out that kind of gave the Striker class a bit of support. However, since the release of some of these units, unfortunately, these units really haven't done anything. I really do feel that the Striker class is like so close to being like a top tier damage dealing team, but it just feels like they are missing a couple of key pieces. The main reason why I'm making this video is because I recently just pulled this quick Kuzan from the treasure map tickets that just came out, and also from one of the tickets that came out recently as well. I did end up getting, or was it the treasure map Sugafest? I pulled the sword unit as well, so you'll be seeing them featured in this video too, who are also like mainly striker focused in a way. That's where I see the key synergies with that unit. But the other key like piece to this cog is going to be versus Law. You know, talking about Law versus Blackbeard. You know, versus Blackbeard, we already know how good he is, and you know this video is not pertaining to him exactly. But you know, the other side of that unit being versus Law, that unit unfortunately really hasn't done much since that guy came out, and it really feels like a lot of these striker characters that came out around that same time period, that they do work pretty well together. Unfortunately, there's not a lot going on because the characters have like a lot of like decent attack boost, all boost, slot change, whatever it may be, but they don't have those other key pieces, those key pieces of utility. Like the big thing is utility. Like strikers really struggle. And speaking about this Kuzan, man, this Kuzan, he's just kind of bad. He doesn't really have a lot going on with his kit at all. I mean, just talking about his captain ability, he does have like a really interesting thing where if you use a special ability when your HP is 51% or more, you will actually go ahead and get the ability to change all slots into tandem, and you lock the slots for one turn. Like, that's a really cool effect that he has. But, you know, sometimes you need to use a special early on, and then, you know, that effect triggers early on, which means that you don't get that effect later on. It can just be a little bit of a mess. Alternatively, if you activate a special ability on your crew while your HP is 51% or below with Kuzan's ability, he's going to go ahead and charge his cooldown by 15 turns. So there's some really cool things you can do in tandem with his special ability to get him to launch multiple times in a turn and stuff like that, which is kind of cool, but I mean, his special ability doesn't really help out that much either, unfortunately. This is why, you know, characters like Uta, like if you're ever running a striker team, like Uta just feels like the best unit to use because she has a fantastic special that basically accommodates your attack and all boost facilities. She has a great captain ability with fantastic utility, one of the best utility captains in the game, dealing with 10 turns of special reverse and 10 turns of paralysis. And if you compare that to some of the other striker units that we have in the game, nothing really comes close to that. The only real problem with Uta now is the fact that, you know, she's relatively old at this point. You know, she doesn't really have a great attack multiplier boosting captain. If I remember correctly, Int Uta's captain ability is like 5.25 times attack, which when she came out was still good. I mean, the thing is the characters will inevitably still be fine because you can run them in a hybrid scenario, and because, you know, captains inevitably get higher and higher attack boost in their multipliers, that kind of makes up for the fact that Uta doesn't have a very high attack boost. So it's a bit of a weird, you know, situation. Even if you didn't want to use Uta as a captain, she's still a phenomenal crewmate, all things considered. Now, this clip that you're seeing here is against the San Juan Wolf Coliseum, or arena should I say, and the whole goal of this team was to basically reach the final stage and basically use the specials together synergistically, like how I kind of thought it was supposed to work. So the way that you would do this is that the sword unit have a phenomenal super type special. Unfortunately, you need to have like a very specific character in your crew in order to trigger it. In this team scenario, we have X Drake, but also like Kobe, Helmeppo, Tashigi, etc. are all characters that can help trigger that. But their super type is fantastic because it inflicts set target status on the opponent for fighter, slasher, shooter, and striker characters. So that gives you additional damage that you wouldn't normally get. And then you've got a character like Kuzan, which can give you a defense down conditional boost. He can grant you an all boosting effect, which is kind of cool. And this all ties together with the characters such as Versus Law. So Versus Law has a very powerful special ability that can grant like final tap bonuses. He's obviously got the Rush Sugo special, which you can use in some scenarios. And then the really cool thing with Law is that if you have a full team of strikers on your team, when you activate his special ability, the character in the middle right position, in this team example would be Kuzan, receives like 20 turns of cooldown, and then that unit who just got the cooldown becomes the captain for a set amount of time. So it's a really interesting build that Lore has to kind of like manipulate characters around on your screen, as well as give them some pretty solid benefits. So by activating your special in that regard, it will allow Kuzan to get his special back again to use it one more time, and Kuzan will actually activate his super type ability when a captain switch is activated on your side of the field. So that's also pretty cool, because if you don't go down that route, it means you need to have some of the Blackbeard pirates on your team, which if you're running a striker team, isn't normally what you'd want to do, but he does have that secondary condition where if a captain switch is currently active on your side of the field, his super type will become active. And the super type, it isn't really that great. It can provide some resistance down, which I suppose could be quite good. And then you see like the sword unit with their special can also apply some resistance down, can apply some healing, some slot change, all that good stuff. And I believe they also provide an attack boost as well. Synergizing that with the Kuzan, as we said, which can be activated multiple different times, which can grant you all boost, conditional boost, all that good stuff. And Trafalgar Law, of course, which can provide you with an all boost or an attack boost depending on what's available. He also has his Versus ability, which can remove paralysis. It can also give you a full board of matching slots. A lot of good stuff there. So those three key characters of Trafalgar Law, with an amazing animation, by the way. I mean, we talk so much crap about this Law character and how he really wasn't that great when he came out, but that animation still slaps. But like that combination of Law with the sword unit with Kuzan, like that is a really nice core that could work very well in the future. But as I said, I do feel like there needs to be something else. There is something missing with this team to make it really, really good. But I do like the synergistic stuff that this team kind of has. It's just really interesting, a different way to play this type of team. But of course, in terms of high damage content, yeah, I think they definitely need something else. They need some more characters that can do some crazier defense down conditional boosts, potentially. I mean, this combo with Kuzan and Law does work pretty well, considering Law does do defense down through immunity. Kuzan does provide a conditional boost, but it's not like the best conditional boost you've ever seen, you know what I mean? They could definitely do it a lot better. I mean, technically speaking, you could have the Exchange Ace, who I believe is a shooter striker. That could technically work on this team because he can provide an ignited conditional boost. And the other cool thing about this team is that it's actually kind of easy to get like a one of every type on your team. You see in this core where you've got the Sword unit, Law, and Kuzan, that's already fulfilling 3 of the types. And as I said, even if you had like Exchange Ace for double stacking conditional boost, that's a strength unit, which means you only need your Dex character to be fulfilled to get the full team. Potentially you could run like Dual Yamato, which is a Dex dual unit that could grant you a conditional boost, not a conditional boost, sorry, a color affinity boost, and that fulfills another thing. So it's kind of cool that you could get your team to work in that way, because Kuzan does get benefits if you have one of every color on your team with his captain ability. I believe he grants an additional 1.1 times multiplier to his kit, and in order to get Kuzan with like the max possible damage with his captain ability, you need to be at below 50% health or at full health. So that like between 51 and 99% health threshold, he's only granting like, I think it's like a 5 times attack boost or something like that. It's not that great, all things considered. But if you're at full HP or below 50%, and you have one of every color on the team, it's like the 5.75 with a 1.1 multiplier on top of it. I'm going to pull up the calculator right now because I don't know it off the top of my head. 5.75 times 1.1, granting 6.3. That's pretty solid. And then we know Versus Law can have a pretty good multiplier in his captain ability as well. So this is what I'm saying, like, there is potential here, but it just feels like there's some key things that need to go its way for it to actually work effectively. I guess one thing that really doesn't make sense with this kind of team is that there's no good super tandem that actually synergizes with this team, because the characters they're just kind of unrelated in a lot of ways. You've got the potential Rush Sugo special with Trafalgar Law, which is very good. You don't really have a decent final tap, I guess, and you don't have a decent super tandem that works well with this team. If they were able to solve that issue, then I think we could probably revisit this in terms of a high damage scenario. But this is another really cool situation where Trafalgar Law's ability to switch one character into the captain position works out very, very well. During this event period, we got the free-to-play Sulong Beppo, which many people thought and really should have happened, where he was the legend instead of Kuzan. But you can do this really cool team scenario where when you activate the ability to make Beppo the captain in the middle of a quest, he gets a stronger captain ability in terms of multiplier, but also grants the ability for your normal attacks to bypass enemy defensive effects. Very similar to the Sulongs that we have previously, which is incredibly powerful, granting the ability to just completely ignore the damage reduction, the damage threshold, the barriers, damage nullification, whatever it may be on the opponent's side of the field, you can just bypass it with Beppo. So again, like, there's really cool scenarios where this can all work very, very well together. But let me know your thoughts and opinions about the striker class down below in the comment section. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.